What if I told you some of the men you came across and started dating stopped talking to you because you came across as desperate? But what if I also told you you can change that in the snap of a finger without even changing anything about yourself? If that still sounds confusing to you, don't worry. On today's show, we're going to be discussing 5 ways you come across as desperate to men. That way, you never make the mistake of being seen as anything less than the dream woman you know you are. The first one that makes you look desperate is begging men to spend more time with you. Here is the thing though. You have to understand, I need you to understand because I want you to get the guy that you like. But the problem is when it's the guy that you like, you start acting all weird and strange and it's a turnoff. I'm here to try to help you with that so that you don't present yourself that way. Begging men to spend more time with you or even just asking them profusely, meaning just consistently all the time to spend more time with you is going to make you look desperate because a couple of things are going to be occurring. He's going to be thinking through his mind when you're constantly begging him to spend more time with you. He's going to be thinking, well, first of all, why don't you have anything to do else in your day? Anywhere else to go, anyone else to hang out with other than me, that you're always begging me to spend time with you? And second of all, am I the only good thing in your life that you wouldn't even want to go and do anything else? Do you actually not have anything you care about more than me? And so it does a really weird thing where a guy begins to think, well, I must be the best thing since sliced bread. You know what that is though? That's power. And at the very beginning of the relationship, unfortunately, you don't want to be giving the guys that you're talking to a whole lot of power. You want to be making sure that the guys that you're talking to, they understand that you're entertaining them and you're going out on dates with them. One, because they're pursuing you. That guy is pursuing you, asking you out on dates. Yeah, okay, let's see how it goes. Let's see what you got. And you're allowing him to court you and pursue you. And then number 2, that you are one of his options. Okay, don't have to be dating 30 guys at once, but you're one of his options. And if he shows himself to be the best option or put his best foot forward, then maybe you might choose him. You don't want guys to have wield so much power in their relationships with you, especially from the very beginning, that they feel like they're the ones in control and they're the ones approving whether or not they want to be with you type of thing. Don't beg men to spend more time with you. Don't ask them over text and don't ask them in person. I know that it's hard, but I want you to refrain from asking men to spend more time. If you're talking to a guy and he tells you, for example, the next time I'm going to be available for you or to hang out with you is 2 weeks from now. When you really like the guy, you're going to be in agony. Oh, 2 weeks. I have to wait 2 weeks to hang out. What am I supposed to do with the rest of my week? I'm going to sit here. I'm going to be so bored. I don't want to be so bored. Can't you find time in your week before that we can hang out? Let's go to Crumble Cookie or something. Like, please. I don't want to be bored for 2 weeks. I'm going to lose interest. I'm going to be so sad. I'm going to have nothing to do. Do not do that. Look in my eyes. Do not do that. You will look so desperate. What you don't realize is even the guys that you're dating or seeing that are nice guys, some of them won't tell you that when you're doing that, you're looking desperate. Some of them in some cases might actually say, oh, okay, you know what? Since you said that, I guess, we can try and hang out in 1 week as well instead of making you wait the whole 2 weeks. But you have to understand, even when you do get out of him hanging out with him more frequently after that, it's still going to be because he felt bad about not seeing you as frequently as you wanted to see him. And so it's still not good because now he's not hanging out with you or spending time with you because he genuinely wants to spend more time with you. He's hanging out or spending more time with you because he feels bad that you're so sad that you don't spend more time, that he doesn't spend more time with you. And so it comes more out of pity than it does out of his desire. And you want men to be operating and making decisions about their relationship with you and how much they see you and spend time with you out of their desire desire. Remember, one of the things that we do very heavily in the Players Club, I'm helping you. I'm like a vessel that's helping you understand how men think so that you can go out into the world knowing how they respond and react to things, and you can feed them very curated information, knowing that it's going to give them this response or make them think or feel this way. Then they're going to treat you or respond to you or approach you in a particular way because of how you presented yourself. We don't want guys thinking that you're sitting around watching paint dry when he's not hanging out with you. And we also don't want them thinking that they're the best thing to ever come into your life, that when they're not hanging out with you, you literally have nothing else to do. It's very bad for you. It makes you look very low value, and it makes it look like you're so desperate. To the guys that you're dating, especially the ones that you just started dating, your life's great. Your life's amazing. You're having fun. You're enjoying yourself. You're going out and doing you. It's not even about lying. You just want to present yourself in the way that you want to be seen. And unfortunately, when you start coming up to guys when you first meet them and say, oh my God, my world literally stops spinning when you're not in it, that I want to spend every second of my day with you because I have nothing to do other than spend time with you. Whenever you do that to a guy from the very beginning, they don't end up appreciating you. They only end up wanting to use you and then take advantage of you. So I don't want that for you, and I know you don't want that for you. Number 2 is asking men to reply to you faster. Please, why can't you reply every 5 minutes? You're a cop, but why can't you put that drug bust to the side and send me a quick message while you're tying them up in handcuffs? You're just sitting in the police car doing your speedometer. How much does it really take for you to text me back? You're just sitting in the car. It's parked. Stop. Get a grip. Step outside of your house. Go hang out with your girlfriends. Go paint a picture, go read a book, do something. Do not sit by the phone waiting for him to text you. Do not. You will always lose, and you will always spiral that way. Don't be going up to guys and telling them, oh, so you're too good to text back. No, stop it. Stop it. Don't be saying nothing about, oh, you take too long to text back. Oh, you must be too busy. You can't text back or blah, 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 blah. No, you're doing things with your life. You have things going on. If that guy doesn't want to text back, cool. You're not bothered about it. I know that it's hard and I know that it's difficult, but you have to adopt an unbothered mindset, because if you get thrown off by every single little thing that he does, you're never going to be happy. You can't be in a space where simply a guy not messaging you back for 5 minutes or an hour is going to throw your entire day off. That is not sustainable. It's not sustainable for your relationship. It's not sustainable for your happiness. And it's not sustainable for your desirability, because guys will begin to not desire you when you're in that level of anxiousness. Please text me. Why don't you text me? Why don't you talk to me? Why don't you message me more? Why don't you this more? Why don't you that more? The mindset you have to adopt and understand is if men want to talk to you and speak to you more, they will reach out to you to speak to you more. When you spiral, you're going to convince yourself, oh, he's not reaching out because his cousin's best friend's grandma is in the hospital. He doesn't really have time to text me. So maybe if I text him instead, it'll ping his cell tower when he's in that hospital, because his service is low. And when it pings his cell tower, he'll remember to message me. Stop. Allow the men in your life that want to reach out to you and speak to you more, allow them the space to do so, and recognize that if they're not doing so, then that's for a reason. It's not because of some ulterior this and that, right? Of course, men can be busy. Of course, they can have things to do. I'm not saying that they won't be. But don't get so caught up in, oh, he hasn't messaged me in hours. At this point, that just means he doesn't like me, or that just means it's something else other than him being busy. Cool, that's fine. That still doesn't mean that you need to then message him and fill in the blanks for him. That still doesn't mean that you need to then reach out to him and say, hey, why haven't you messaged me? Allow him to show you what his intention level is in you, what his interest level is in you, and how much he actually desires you and wants to see you and speak to you. Allow him to show you that, and get comfortable understanding that the men that you're dating will respond to you and text you as frequently or as infrequently as they feel like doing. I'm not saying you can't have needs. I'm not saying that you shouldn't want to talk to your partner or you should want to express your feelings, but you have to understand, especially at the beginning of your relationship, you're going to come across so desperate when you're constantly begging him to talk to you more. And then you're constantly going to end up pushing forward and becoming more anxious because you're going to be like, I want you to talk to me more. Then as you say that and he doesn't do that, you're going to start pushing forward more, thinking that you're losing him, and then he's going to pull back more, and we're going to go be in a whole big mess where he's all the way pulled back and you're all the way leaning forward, pursuing him being the man. You have to understand and be at peace with the fact that when a guy wants to message you and talk to you, he will do that. I know it's painful and I know it builds and bubbles your anxiety like no other, but you have to accept that as truth. So now he's kind of seeing it and thinking, well, I can message you whenever I want because you'll be ready for me whenever I come there. Number 3 is overstaying your welcome. Do not make the mistake of overstaying your welcome with guys. This is something actually pretty subtle that you won't realize you're doing, but it's a mistake. You won't come across how I know you want to come across. Here's the problem. I'm going to paint you a picture. You start seeing a guy that you meet somewhere out. Let's just say you meet him out and you guys go on one date. The date is great. Have a good time. You go home. You guys go on 2 dates. 2 dates. It's great, right? You're having a great time. You're enjoying yourself. Now the 3rd date, you're like, wow, I like this guy. He looks nice. He's got a good job. He's a good guy. He makes me laugh. We have a good time. So now you're like, okay, I feel comfortable with him. We can start hanging out a little more casually. It doesn't always have to be a dinner date. So then you go over to his house on this 3rd date. You guys are drinking some wine, spending some time together. And then you decide, okay, I like you. I like where this is going. I really want this to work. So now I'll sleep over. It's not a big deal. I like you. You like me. It wasn't planned, but I drank some wine and I drove and I don't want to be drunk when I'm driving. So now I'll sleep over. He's like, sure, you sleep over. He might even be the one that mentions it. You sleep over. Let's have a good time. Let's enjoy ourselves. You sleep over. You guys cuddle in bed. Maybe you guys make out a little bit. It's nice and intimate. You guys have some nice little cuddle time. You're so close and all that stuff. You're like, wow, I really like this guy. He's so amazing. He's so awesome. Then you wake up the next day and you're here. Remember, this is the 3rd date. And you're here. And he wakes up and, let's just say today is a Saturday. So there's not that much to do. And now you went from the Friday into the Friday night into the Saturday morning and you're here. And let's say you guys wake up, you kind of laze around a little bit. You make out a little bit more in bed. He feels on your dump truck. And then you guys actually get up out of bed at 12 p.m. You get up out of bed at 12 p.m. You guys go to the living room. You're watching a little TV and stuff like that. You eat some snacks and you're still there. And since it's Saturday now, you guys don't have anything to do on Saturday. Now the Friday date has turned into Saturday morning. That's now turned into Saturday afternoon and you're still there. And then Saturday afternoon comes and you guys, having fun and just laying and you're cuddling and you're watching Netflix and you're just thinking to yourself, oh, damn, I'm having such a great time. If I just had my little makeup and stuff. And he's like, oh, well, there's a spot down the street, just across the street. There's a Shoppers Drug Mart. You can get some of your stuff and then you can stay over some more. So you're all excited and you're all hyped up and you're like, okay, let's go in. I'll go get my makeup remover and all my stuff and then I'll stay over some more. And then you stay over for a second night. Unfortunately, when guys ask to see you more and spend more time with you, especially at the very beginning, it's a trap. Because what's going to happen in the example that I gave, you're going to go over and you're going to sleep over for the 2nd night in a row. So now Friday has turned into Saturday, has turned into Sunday. You're going to wake up on Sunday, and by the time you leave on Sunday, he's going to be sick of seeing your face. Not because you're a bad person, not because you're unattractive, but simply because you've jumped off too fast and gone too far before there was time for him to build up the emotions and his desire for you. You want guys to see you more because of their desire for you, but you still want to leave them unsatisfied. You can't leave them satiated right from the very beginning because you know what they say after that. I don't need to see her for a little bit. After you spend those 3 nights in a row at his house on that 3rd date, he's going to say, damn, that was great. I had some fun. But I saw her 3 nights in a row, so I probably don't need to see her for another week and a half. I got to catch up on work. I got to do this. I want to hang out with friends. He essentially needs like an emotional break from you. There's a buildup to spending every day with someone. I mean, like from the wake up when we're brushing our teeth to eating breakfast together, to eating lunch together, to being on the couch together, to going out together and then going to sleep. Like there's supposed to be a buildup there. Not supposed to happen when you still are unsure how you feel about someone and you're still learning them a lot. A lot of times it can become a trap for you and you end up overstaying your welcome thinking, oh, we're getting along so well so fast. And then all of a sudden he's sick of you. And then you're wondering why the guy that you thought things were going so well with is now kind of pulling back away from you and not seeming as interested in you anymore. And I'm here to help you understand that comes when you overstay your welcome. It makes it seem like you have nowhere else to be and nothing else to do. And I know this is unfortunate because some of you might be like, well, Tomisin, the only times I stayed over was when I actually was free, when I actually didn't have anything to do. It's not because I'm desperate, but I simply was actually free at the time. So I ended up staying that. I know it comes from a good place. And I know you're not doing it intentionally. I just want you to understand by the time you overstay your welcome, the guys in that position, they can't help but think to themselves, yeah, you know, I'm good for a little bit. I like you and you're amazing. We don't need to see each other every single day. And because we saw each other 3 days in a row, we can take a little bit of a break here. And they might not say that to you, but they start thinking that subconsciously and thinking, yeah, you know, I like her, but I don't necessarily miss her right now because I just saw her for 3 days in a row. If you find yourself in a position where a guy's looking at his watch or looking at his phone and saying, oh yeah, I gotta run somewhere, or oh yeah, I gotta go do a thing, or oh yeah, I gotta... Get all your stuff, grab your bag, grab your lipstick, grab your chapstick, pull your pants up if your pants are at your ankles, tighten up your belt, put your boots on, walk out that door as fast as you humanly can. Do not allow the period in which he says, yeah, I think I gotta go do something else, and the time in which you're still there to go on. You want the guys that are in your life that are dating you, you want them to always be coming to you. So they have to have a certain level of hunger and desire for you consistently in order to continue coming to you. Number 4, you can't be an I'll change anything about myself type of girl. I know you want to make your man happy. That's fine. But you should be making your man happy, not randos that you go on dates with. Until you actually start building up this relationship and building it to what it's supposed to be, then you can start thinking about, okay, what do you like? What are you interested in? Okay. At the beginning though, you cannot be hyper focused on changing everything about yourself as soon as he says, oh, I like this better, I like that better. Let me give you a direct example of what I mean. If you start seeing a guy that you just met and you go out on a couple of dates with him, for whatever reason, he shows you pictures of his exes and you start looking on his following list and he's following a bunch of blonde models and all of his exes are blonde girls. And you're sitting there, you're like, I'm a brunette. He clearly is in love with blondes. And so you start thinking, and he starts saying, yeah, my ex with this and da da da, and she's blonde and she's da da da. And you start thinking, oh, well, maybe I'll change my hair to blonde because he clearly is really into blondes and I don't want to be what he doesn't like. It's a mistake. Be you. Do not change or adjust yourself, and don't even present the idea that you're willing to change and adjust yourself to be more of what he wants in the beginning. Why? You need to come standing your ground saying, I am who I am. I love who I am. If you don't like that, that's fine. Doesn't bother me, doesn't affect me, doesn't make me mad, but we should go our separate ways. Because if you don't like me, who I am and how I talk, how I laugh, let's have a conversation so that I don't have to waste time on you. Because I need to be with someone that I'm compatible with being me, not I'm compatible with someone if I'm someone else. Do not go into your relationship with another guy and you learn what his ex was like, what she looks like, and you try to become more like his ex. Be you. Now, that doesn't mean you don't want to improve yourself and be the best you can and be the most attractive you can. Of course you can. But don't try to change aspects of who you are to be more like the girls you think he likes. If you think your man loves blondes and he's dating you and you're brunette, stay brunette. And the irony of it is, when you actually end up doing it, he only ends up liking you less because he recognizes that you're making the change simply for him and because he likes something different. What is that? That's a demonstration of power, because as soon as he doesn't like something or he wants you to make a change about yourself, you immediately make that change. So what's that going to communicate to him? Oh, I have a lot of power in this relationship. She's going to change or adjust herself based on whatever I want or need in that moment, even if she has to sacrifice what she wants. So what's that going to tell him? What I want and what I need is way more important than what she wants or what she needs. When they recognize how much power they have over you, especially very early, they're usually going to misuse and abuse that power, meaning they're going to take advantage of you. They're going to extract from you, and then they're going to give you nothing in return, drive you around in circles, and then discard of you when they feel like discarding of you. We don't want that for you, and we don't want to put you in that position. We don't want to make you look desperate, so I'm advising you, do not go into your talking stages, your dating stages, and start changing things about yourself to be more like the guy that you like now. You're not going to be more attractive. You're not going to be any more interesting or enticing. He's not going to talk to you anymore. Because I know that's one of the first things that some of you run to. If you see a guy's not really showing you proper attention, you start running to trying to change yourself or change yourself to be more of what he wants, thinking that when you do that, he's going to be showing you more attention. It's a mistake. You'll put yourself in the trap and he still won't talk to you more. Guys are able to see that, hey, I just met you. I'm a stranger to you. You're a stranger to me. We don't really know each other. And already you're trying to bend over backwards and forwards to be whatever I like. Even to the point where you're changing your hair color, changing your style, or changing the way you dress to be what I like. Feel comfortable as you. Embody you, because at the end of the day, what matters more than anything is that you look in the mirror and think that you're hot, think that you're sexy, think that you're amazing, think that you're approachable, because that confidence is what's going to make you attractive. You have to also be thinking that when you're dating people, right? That the exes are exes for a reason. So you can't take their template and try to make it your template when that technique clearly hasn't yielded the result in being in the relationship, because that's an ex for a reason. You have to recognize that as well. So don't be so worried when you start noticing a pattern that you think, oh, I got to be like the exes now. Actually, you should be less like the exes, if anything. Number 5 is over complimenting. I love some of these other content creators. I do. And I know that they mean well. And I know that they're giving you their best advice that they possibly can. Compliment a guy's t-shirt. Tell him he looks nice. Tell him his eyes are nice. Tell him he's got a nice smile. All this jabber. It's useless. In fact, when you over-compliment guys, you will actually come across as desperate. Why do you need to over-compliment someone that has approached you? Clearly, they like you. Clearly, they're interested in you. I set this strategy up so that you can be confident and sure within yourself and not be anxious wondering what things mean. There's a reason why I tell you, do not be going out on dates with any men that don't approach you. Don't even entertain them. Any man that you have to text first, any man that you have to call first, any man that you have to reach out to, or you have to ask for his number, or you have to go up to him, you do not go out on dates with any of those men. There's a reason that I tell you that. Because some of you guys are like, oh, well, I should, but what if I think he's cute? There's a reason I say that. Why? Because when he approaches you, that is confirmation for you that you don't need to overextend yourself. You can use that to constantly reassure yourself, he approached me for a reason. He came up to me for a reason. He clearly likes me, finds me interesting, and finds me attractive, or else he would have never approached me. Nobody held a gun to his head to do that. Nobody forced him to do that. Nobody pushed him to do that. He chose to do that. That will consistently be like your reassurance that you can fall back on when you ever think of, okay, maybe I have to start over complimenting more. Maybe I have to start doing more of this. Maybe I have to start getting the floor squeaky clean. That way, you don't lose your mind and start spiraling. Be rest assured that anytime you start thinking, oh, maybe I got to compliment him more or tell him how amazing he is so that he knows I still like him. No, you don't. Maybe I have to do all this so that he'll still like me. No, you don't. Because when you were doing nothing, he still came up to you. When you were doing nothing, he still approached you. When you were doing nothing, he still asked for your number and wanted to get to know you. So that should allow you the peace of mind to know if I just continue doing nothing, nothing's going to change. Now, where things can change is if I start overextending myself, thinking that I have to do the absolute most in order to keep his attention. No, you don't. Just let it build. He's going to approach you because he finds you interesting and fascinating. Once he does that, let that interest build upon itself over the course of time. It doesn't have to all be at once. It doesn't have to look like a teen drama. Natural feelings don't build up in 5 minutes. They build up over the course of weeks and months and years, and that's perfectly fine. I want you to be at peace with the fact that when he shows you interest and shows you the fact that he wants you, that is what that means. And not thinking that you have to overcompliment. You got a nice t-shirt. You got a nice smile. You're the best thing since sliced bread. I love you so much. No. Do nothing, because in fact, when you're over complimenting guys like that, they can sense that you're overcompensating. They can sense that you're doing it because you're anxious or nervous that he might leave, or he might be looking at a different girl, or he might not want you anymore, or his interest might be waning. It becomes obvious to them when you're overextending, trying to say essentially, hey, look at me still. You know I like you and I want to be with you because I feel like you don't know that I still like you and I want to be with you. If you would know that I like you so much and I want to be with you, then maybe you would recognize that I'm still here. Don't look at the girl behind me who her dump truck is so massive it's spilling out of her jeans. Look at me. I want you to see me and notice me. Don't be that. Don't do that. When a guy's your boyfriend, you can compliment him and tell him he looks nice. I'm not saying you never give a man a single compliment in your entire life, even if you're dating him. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you don't start using that as compensation to try to fill in the blanks where you're starting to say, oh, I feel nervous about the fact he might be losing interest. Maybe I should tell him, over compliment him, and then tell him how much I like him so that he'll recognize that I'm into him and he'll still be into me. That doesn't work, and it only makes you look desperate. Over complimenting and overly explaining your emotions. I like you so much, and I think you're so amazing, and I want to be with you so bad, and I want to get married to you, and you're just so the best. You're the best man. You cannot overdo it. All you're doing after he approaches you and comes up to you and asks you for your number, all you're doing is managing and pacing. What I mean by that is you're managing the amount that he sees you and the amount that he gets of you, and you're pacing the relationship so that it's going in a positive forward direction each and every day, but it's never stagnating. That's what you're doing. Escalating and growing over the course of time until he asks you to be his girlfriend.